filled with filters and facades, the Real Life with Lacey is your sanctuary of authenticity. Join me as we unravel true stories that resonate with the human experience. And remember, our ultimate goal is to touch the heart of at least one viewer in every episode. This is where the power of real life takes center stage and the impact is real. Welcome to a journey of inspiration and connection. All right, welcome back to the Real Life with Lacey podcast. Today we have my good friend Jenn.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so I'd like to do a little background of how I know the guest, if I do know them for a long period of time. And with you, I've known you since we were in kindergarten, preschool? Yeah.
About then.
So like 15 years.
Seeing as we're 27.
Exactly. Something like that. But anyways, yeah, we grew up together and our older brothers were friends. They were 4 years older than us.
I think that's initially what sparked our friendship is the fact that our brothers hung out on the bus, and so it was just natural for us to become friends too.
Our bus trip was like 5 hours long.
Yeah, but we had the most fun ever. I mean, from kindergarten on. I mean, every day we sat together. We had so much fun. We talked shit about everybody. Sorry.
Yeah, and that nothing changed through junior high and high school. No. But yeah, so, I mean, that's just a great foundation that we had for a very, very long time. There are a few things I want to talk about, which we know a lot about each other. And the best thing that I really want to touch, because it's so difficult for people to stop drinking. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of people in my life right now that just can't stop, and it's literally killing them, you know. You did stop.
I did.
How long have you been sober?
Almost 9.5 years now.
Wow. And without a drop?
Without a drop of alcohol.
And you were a drinker.
Oh boy, was I. I come from a long line of alcoholics, and unfortunately, I fell into it, and I was an alcoholic. I was a big-time drinker.
Yeah. All right. So when did you start drinking?
Oh, I mean, by the time I was 11 or 12, I was, it was acceptable in my house. It wasn't a secret to drink in front of our parents, and we just took their beer and drank, and they were inebriated most of the time, so they didn't pay attention or notice or care.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 9 or 10, you were having some drinks.
Yeah, definitely.
Were you getting drunk?
I probably wasn't getting drunk until I was 12 years old. But then, yeah.
Okay, but that's
definitely.
still young.
It is. I guess it is still young. When I see 12-year-olds today, it's hard to imagine them doing any of the things that I was doing at 12 years old. But I don't know, I felt so old and so mature at that age, and had been through so much already. So it was natural. It was.
What do you mean that you had been through so much already at that age?
Well, growing up in a drug addict and alcoholic and abusive household, it's very traumatic, and so picking up some type of substance it's pretty natural.
Just to numb it.
Just to numb the pain. And that's ultimately why I became an alcoholic, was all of the traumas that I had suffered. I didn't know, I never learned any healthy coping mechanisms to deal with those traumas and emotions and things that I was struggling with or feeling. So alcohol made me fun. It made me not care. It made me not feel. So.
Yeah. I mean, you were fun. I mean, you still were fun.
I'm not as fun. Let's be real. You don't catch me on a bar top anymore. Or, driving my car 10 million miles an hour through.
We're going to get to that story. Yes, absolutely. That's one of my favorite stories. It's so terrible, but it's so good. I don't know. It's a bad, good thing. But, no, you were so fun drinking, but you are actually really fun sober, which is shocking. Not shocking, but a lot of times people just kind of dud out when they're sober. But you're phenomenal, even sober, which is great. But, okay, yeah, let's back up to some stories. Story time.
Oh, boy.
We were 19. I know we were 19 because I go off of Desiree's age.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
And she was about a year old when I got that phone call from you in jail.
Yeah.
And please tell that.
Were we really 19?
Yeah, she was one, maybe 1.5, and I had her at 18.
That's true. I want to say, yeah, it had to have been 20. I want to say 20 because that wasn't my first sobriety. this is my second sobriety stint. But
Okay. Well, what was your first one?
was after that. And I went 5 years sober.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we'll go through all that.
Yeah. Okay. So then, okay. So please do tell.
Okay. So yeah, that crazy story. I had gotten a phone call from my brother, Eric, that
And he's 4 years older than you.
5 years, 5 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been in and out of prison his whole life because, of course, both of my older brothers have also struggled with addiction and problems with the law as well, and that's around the family.
Weird.
So he had been in prison for close to a year at that point, and I had gotten a phone call that he had been involved in a race riot and was stabbed 4 times, and he was in the medical ward, and he was okay. He was gonna, be fine. He was recovering, but he wanted to let me know what had happened. And of course, I freaked out. I started having all these issues with the fact that I can't be there for my brother and be there to protect him. And I don't know, you know what it's like with your loved one, your family, when you hear that they get hurt, you freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I immediately, what is my reaction? I got to get drunk. I've got to numb this pain. And I proceeded to get wildly drunk. God, I used to remember what it was I had to drink, but I can't. I mean, copious amounts of alcohol. I probably went through a fifth of Hennessy, called a girlfriend to come and take me out to the bar because, let's go out, let's get trashed. Had about 4 or 5 drinks at the bar, and she drops me off at home, completely inebriated. I don't remember any of this.
Oh.
So she says the last thing she remembers, or the last thing that she knows, she's like, you were stumbling up to your front door, so I felt safe driving off. Well, apparently, I did stumble into the front door and go and I get my car keys.
Oh my gosh.
And I go out and I get in my car, and I guess what was going through my mind was, I'm going to break my brother out of prison.
Yeah. Which, I don't, I always wonder, what was your plan when you,
you're so trashed, and we all have that liquid courage, and I think I was thinking, I'm just going to drive my car through the front of the prison, just like in a movie, and of course I'm going to pull right into the medical ward and be like, get in! Go in Dukes of Hazzard style and just swoop my brother up and be out of there, and we're going to drive off into the sunset.
But it didn't happen that way.
No. Weird, because it all seemed like it was going to go just fine in my head.
Yeah. So you hit the fence? You rammed into the fence?
Well, yeah. I rammed into the fence at the front of the prison. There was the gates, whatever, because let's keep in mind now, it's 2:00 in the morning. And I hit the gates, which of course there's all kinds of security and police right there on prison grounds. So they come at me.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. So reverse.
Yeah, I threw that sucker in reverse.
Uh-huh.
And I took off. And we went on an hour-and-a-half high-speed chase.
From what I remember, you were going the opposite way on the freeway.
I did. I was doing a $110 in the opposite direction on the freeway. Thank God. At this point, it was 2:30 in the morning, so there was very light traffic.
Could you imagine? Seriously?
No, I could have easily killed someone.
Oh, yeah, and yourself.
And
yeah,
myself.
for sure. And then how did they stop you?
I ended up T-boning a CHP officer, which annihilated his car, annihilated my car, so it rendered my car immobile. So then I'm sitting there on the freeway, we're all spun out, and cars in pieces, and I'm looking for a cigarette to light. And I've got 17 officers on me. There's a helicopter up in the sky.
Oh my God.
With the light shining down, and I'm my purse had gone everywhere in the hit, right? So I'm looking everywhere for my cigarettes, is what I'm assuming, because they tell me in the police report I'm digging down on the floorboard, so they thought I was looking for a weapon.
Oh yeah.
So they batoned my window in and put 2 canine units in the car on me. Let's keep in mind now, if we rewind backwards, I'm 20 years old. Probably $1.15 soaking wet.
And 2 dogs came in.
Oh, they chewed me to pieces.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they were
like on your arms or
on my arms, my face, because I'm like, I'm so drunk. Come here, puppy. Yeah, that's what I think. Oh no, they're mad at me. I better be friendly. So I'm over here kissing at a dog, and it like, burn, because girl, when I woke up in jail and saw my face, I was like, and now keep in mind, when I woke up in jail, I still had no idea what had happened.
Oh my God. And so they told you, or you just read it? Or,
yeah. So,
and then court, I'm sure you went to court.
Oh my God. And I had a great job. I had always been a functioning alcoholic. I had a good job. I dressed cute as a girl. I like to get my nails done. So but I was an alcoholic. And finally it had caught up with me, and when I woke up in jail, I was in the hole. So first of all, I'm like, what am I wearing? What am I doing? Why am I in so much pain? I have stitches. I had been to the hospital. They had stitched me up from the dog bites.
And you don't remember anything?
I didn't remember a
Did
thing.
They have your blood alcohol level?
They did. I want to say it was a 0.27, which is ridiculous. They said that I shouldn't have been
able to even drive.
Awake.
Yeah.
I should have been like passed out, drunk. And so that's actually one thing that helped me, because I was facing so many charges.
Oh, I bet.
It worked in my favor that I was so inebriated. It was basically like a temporary insanity, is what my lawyer had argued.
So how long were you in jail?
I served 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which jail were you
San Joaquin County in Stockton.
Oh.
San Joaquin County Jail in Stockton, yeah.
How was that jail time?
Oh my God, it was awful. 'Cause 73 days of it was in the hole.
What?
Yeah.
By yourself?
Yes, by myself. For 24 hours a day. I got out like twice a week to take a shower, and then because I had injured a police officer.
Oh, did you injure one?
Yeah.
When you T-boned him?
When I T-boned him, he was injured. And
oh, shit.
And I'm, and the fact that I'm explaining, like, I'm a nice girl. I'm a good girl. They didn't give a shit. Like, I hit an officer with my car, and that's assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. And so they treated me like I was a murderer and a rapist, And,
I bet. Because one of their own.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
I understand it now, looking
Yeah.
back. But at the time, I'm trying to explain, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And they didn't give a shit. So it was torture. And, I mean, the cops, they treated me like shit. Understandably so. I mean, I could have killed him. I could have killed myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
so you were in the hole for how long?
73 days in the hole, and then like another month and a half in general population, which was disgusting.
You put me back in the hole.
Honestly, because I was in there with like heroin addict, crackheads, and I remember people telling me like, "You have such nice teeth," and I'm like, "Well, you don't have any." So I mean, I'd return the compliment, but I can't.
Yeah.
I just in Stockton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you get any fights?
I did not.
No?
Not a single fight. Yeah. I was quiet. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was terrified. So I stayed quiet. I did whatever the officers asked me, because in my mind I did whatever my attorney said, because I was facing prison time. And luckily I got off with I served the 4 months. They had sentenced me to a year. But if I was to go into a treatment program, I'd have to go on a waiting list to get into a live-in treatment program. They would suspend that sentence and give me time served for whenever I would get into that treatment program. It took the 4 months. And then I got a 2-year joint suspension, which meant if I violated my probation at any time within 5 years, because I was put on 5 years felony probation, that I would have to go back and serve that 2 years in prison.
Oh, so you wanted to...
Hence my 5-year sobriety after that.
So did you end up going into a live-in?
I did.
Okay.
I served the 4 months in county jail in Stockton. And then I went into a 30-day live-in treatment program.
Okay. So while because you were a functioning alcoholic, were you coming off of alcohol while you were in jail?
Yes.
Yeah. What was your, it's like a detox sort of situation? It
was.
Like shakes, or I'm not sure.
Shakes, sweats, I
bet you were fiending for it too, right?
It was painful. It felt like an entire body flu, probably for like at least a week. And my mind is what was crazy, is that my mind was playing such tricks on me. I thought...
Really?
Girl.
What was it doing?
I thought that I had died and that I was in hell.
Oh.
I couldn't decipher if I was living in reality or not. Like, this is not real. This cannot be real. Because the trauma, I guess, what had happened, the fact that I couldn't remember it, waking up in jail, in the hole, being treated the way I was being treated, and then feeling the way I was feeling because I was detoxing from alcohol because I was such a heavy drinker. I was a morning to night drinker daily. I would drink at work. I would drink first thing in the morning. I was reaching for what was on the nightstand next to me that I was left over from the night before. It was not pretty.
No. Oh my God. So, I mean, that's when it's like, all right, well, maybe everything happens for a reason, even though it was so terrible what happened, and thank God you didn't die or kill anybody. All right, so now you have a chance to be sober.
Correct.
Yeah, and then you went to the 30 days.
I went to the 30 days.
And so in your head, were you like, fuck yeah, I'm sober? Or were you just playing the game and been like, okay, I'm just going to do this for a little bit, then go back?
No, God, no. I lost my job.
Oh, because you were gone for that.
Because, and I called, you weren't the only phone call I had to make while I was in there, like I was scared. And knowing you for so long, you only have so many phone numbers that you've,
remembered.
Yeah, exactly.
A landline back then.
I know, isn't that crazy? And so you were ingrained in my memory. And so, I mean, I think it was you, my parents, and my boss really are the phone calls that I made in there. I mean, outside of my attorney.
You asked me for a letter.
Yeah.
For the judge.
Yeah.
Which I did. I wish I could see what that letter. Do you have it still?
I might still.
But I'm like, take my word. I am a 19-year-old single mom. This is a good lady.
You were probably drunk when you were writing it, or stoned or something.
Seriously, I'm like, yeah. Wait, I don't think this judge is going to listen to me, but I'll do it anyway.
No, it helped, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so then the 30-day.
Yep, I did. So I was scared. I mean, the fact that I was facing, they were trying to hit me with like 6 felonies, 9 years in prison. I'd lost my job. I lost my car. I lost my license. I mean, all of this stuff is like heavily weighing on me. And here I am, just this young girl. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking ever again in my life. So I did the 30, and then being in treatment was worse than being in jail.
Really?
I was the only person that was in there for alcoholism because, again, this was in Stockton.
Oh, yeah. So they're on heavy drugs. Most of these people trying to get off of heavy drugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was, I mean, and it's eye-opening, too. I'm like, I don't ever want to be in this type of situation again. I don't ever want to put myself in this type of situation again. So, yeah, I went to AA after I got out of so what was crazy was that the day I get out of treatment, I'm moving back in with my parents now at this point.
Oh, no. Are they still drinking?
Well, my dad, yes. Oh, of course. My dad, the day he picks me up from treatment, we're sitting out in the backyard smoking cigarettes, because I smoked cigarettes back then. He cracks a beer open, and I'm thinking it's for him, and he slides it over to me. And I'm like, after I've just been through all of this traumatic stuff, it's been 5 months now since it's happened.
Wow.
And he slides a beer over to me, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, no, I'm sober. And he's like, oh, honey, you're fine. You're not an alcoholic. You're okay. And I'm like, no. And I couldn't believe it. Like, the realization, like, the heaviness of that. And I was just, like, I was so disappointed in my dad and so angry with him for that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But for him, he probably felt like, hey, forget about it. Numb it.
Yeah.
Like I do, you know?
Misery loves company, right?
Oh, 100%.
And that was something that was really tough for my parents. And it kind of affected our relationship. It did. It affected our relationship. The fact that I got sober. And they felt as if I thought that I was better than them or the family or too good or, you know what I mean? And
that's just their guilty conscience probably sneaking up on them, you know?
Yeah.
Knowing that they should probably quit too.
But not wanting to.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now I'm doing it, and they're like, oh, shit. Yeah, it's kind of like nobody wants to have that mirror put in their face.
So you did good for a few years?
For 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the anniversary of my 5 years, I decided to get trashed.
What was the reason? Did you think you could handle it?
Yes. And I think, I want to say, again, It was after I met Justin. It was when I met Justin because you and I spent a lot of time together too during that 5 years of sobriety. Yeah. Because you were even shocked, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then Miss Lacey over here introduces me to Mr. Wonderful. This guy.
I'm known to be a really good matchmaker. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was at your wedding.
You were at my wedding. Well, you damn well better be after arranging that. I was trashed at my wedding.
You are.
Oh boy, maybe we could talk about that story. What was it, Runaway Bride? Remember I disappeared?
Yes, but
I just spit.
Hold on. But let's back up just a little bit.
Okay.
Because you started drinking.
I started drinking when I met Justin.
Yes. Okay, but when was Halloween at BG's?
That was that was after. Obviously, that was after. Yeah. So I went that 5 years sober, and I met Justin, so I started dating. We started dating. He partied a lot. He was up performing at your bar every night.
He was a bass player.
Every weekend,
Was a bass player?
He was a bass player, in a band. And they were always performing, so they were always at these venues where there's drinking.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I'm like, I'm older. If I can have 5 years of sobriety... which I had done successfully. I'd gotten, I was supporting myself. I was in a nice apartment, had a nice car again, had a great job again. I felt boring as fuck. Now I meet this guy, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got this. If I can go 5 years sober, then maybe I'm not truly an alcoholic, and I can control it.
Yeah.
And so I started drinking again. And within that time frame came Halloween.
Yeah, okay. That was just off the wall because you were dressed as Pocahontas.
Yeah, I was dressed as Pocahontas.
Remember that?
Why do you gotta bring this?
Because I was working and it was packed. It was a Halloween party. Everyone's dressed up, and you were drinking. Yeah. And there was a fight outside, and I had to call cops. Cops came, and so I'm outside talking to the cop about what just happened, and you come out and with your little feather. Yeah, pretty much. And you're like, arrest me, to the cop. And I was like, damn, is this some sexual game? Like, she's playing that? I don't fucking know. And you're like, arrest me. And then he's like, excuse me? And you're like, arrest me. And then I was like, don't mind her. She's been drinking. And then I tried to keep talking to him about the situation.
I feel like I was really tired is what it was at that point. Because wasn't it the end of the night?
Yes.
I was tired.
You could have taken a nap.
I could have.
Like, in my car or downstairs. I don't know. Whatever the case is, you kept at him, and he said, you need to stop. Like, if you keep this up, I'm going to have to arrest you for public,
intoxication.
Yeah, and you're like, fucking arrest me. And he's like, he looked at me, I'm like, fuck.
Just take her.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, I'm going to have to take you in. I'm like, Jen, I tried to talk you off the ledge, and you're like, it's fine. I'm fine.
All the way into the cop car, wasn't I telling you, like, all handcuffed, like, I'll call you in the morning.
Yes. The whole time I was just like, you're arrested. And so you're gone. And you're like,
I have a problem. I had a problem.
Yes, and then he takes you in, you're arrested. And the next day I get a phone call. She's sober if you want to come pick her up. I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. I go to pick you up, and you're in the corner of, like, the main street. You walked from the jail to the main road in your Pocahontas outfit, and you're over there dancing. That's me. You were so.
I'm pretty sure they gave me breakfast, so I was happy, and like coffee.
God. Yeah.
And that might have been what was going on in my mind, like continental breakfast, like a concrete slab cot.
I so would have cooked you breakfast if you just went home with me, but whatever. But yeah, so that's like some of the little stories of when you were drinking. You were fun. You were never one of those people that were like wanting to fight people. Well, that around me, anyways. I mean,
well, there was that one time in the bathroom at BG's.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was always a happy go, and I mean that's why I liked to drink, or I chose to drink, was because I was depressed, and angry and hurt, and when I drank, it all went away, and I was happy, and everything was fun and easy, and so I just wanted to have a good time, and just be and get arrested.
Yeah, but a lot of people do that. I mean, I see it every day. People want to drink to feel good.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the, like, when do you know it's too much? When do you know that you're a straight alcoholic? Like, I don't know.
Unfortunately, it took me until, because again, after, okay, so obviously that big deal that happened where I T-boned a CHP, that was my second DUI. My first DUI was, I think I was 18 years old, and it was not, it was literally like I made an illegal U-turn. I had too much to drink, made an illegal U-turn. It was kind of a boring story, but still, unfortunately, I had gotten
underage,
I had gotten a DUI. Yeah, I think my girlfriend that I was with was of age, and she had gotten like a, what is it called?
Contribution to a minor.
Delinquency of a minor, yeah. Whatever. So it was kind of a boring, I mean, nothing as dramatic as the second one.
Yeah.
But then 4 months, after I went 5 years sober, and thought, okay, maybe I'm not truly an alcoholic. And this entire time, my family's trying to, persuade me that I'm not, So, and I start drinking within 4 months of all of that happening. And then, I mean, I'm getting arrested again. I got my third DUI.
Oh.
And again, I was with Justin at that point. And we both got inebriated. We're up in Reading at a show. And I'm driving erratically down the freeway at 2 a.m. and get pulled over and end up back in jail now in Reading. And I end up serving 4 months up there because your third, it's a felony offense automatically. And thank God it wasn't within the first 2 years, because now remember, I would have gotten, or it was just outside of that 5 years, because if it would have been within that 5 years, I would have served automatically 2 years in prison.
You'd gone back to that first, what they were trying to get you for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then, and then you got married after that or before that?
We got married after that.
Okay.
So we had just been dating at that time. And now...
And you kept drinking then?
I did. So I spent the night in jail in Reading, and then I had to return. Okay, so I didn't serve the 4 months right away. I was having to return to court in order to be sentenced or whatever. They let me out on OR, own recognizance or whatever. And during that time, I still continued to drink. And I want to say it took like 8 months until they actually sentenced me. And that's when they sentenced me to, they gave me a year, but I only ended up serving like 4 months of that.
Okay.
Up in Reading.
And how was that jail time?
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. I didn't get any visitors because I was so far away. So it was very lonely. And that's when it dawned on me, like, no, I'm an alcoholic. Obviously, now I'm facing, again, I've lost my job. I've lost my car. I've lost my license. I've lost everything. And I think Justin and I start going through a divorce at this point now.
Oh, so you got married before
let me think about this.
So, yeah, like between the DUI and then the sentencing.
Before I got sentenced, we had gotten married because I was still trashed when we got married.
I know. Like, something happened with me and you at your wedding dinner at Alpebe's.
We didn't have what do you mean?
Like, you took off.
I did. See you later.
Like, I tried finding you or something, and you got mad being I don't know. There was something you were mad. You were mad that night.
Didn't a drink get spilled? Was it your drink that got spilled? A drink got spilled.
Yes, I think you threw a drink at me.
Did I throw a drink at you?
I'm pretty sure.
Did you try to take a drink away from me?
Yeah, it might have happened. I'm really not sure, because I was intoxicated too. I'll have to ask Mikey. Mikey was my date. I'll have to ask him.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so there was that whole mess. Why'd you leave? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. And then you guys ended up getting divorced?
We ended up getting a divorce. Let me think about this timeline, because, yeah, did we get married before I got that DUI? No, I don't think that we were married at that time.
Is that the only time you've been married?
Yeah.
How is he? Do you know?
I don't.
I wonder where he is.
Since we've divorced, I have not heard or anything, so it's been over 10 years for that. And I got sober slightly after that when I got out, because I want to say when I got out and was facing, we were in the middle of a divorce, filing for a divorce, because we were only married for a year. God, so the timeline.
Yeah.
We must have gotten married right away after that DUI had happened.
Okay. And then, so when you were getting out from that 4 month sentencing is when you said, I'm done drinking?
Yeah, but I wasn't.
Oh.
I continued to drink. I was at an all-time low there. I was even lower there, surprisingly enough, than prior to the first one.
Alcohol is such a depressant, which people don't understand. They can't wrap, because you feel so high when you're drinking that it's a depressant, though. That it's sad.
It ruined my life. I mean, and I continue, and I knew it ruined my life. It took away my freedom, my license, multiple jobs now, not hundreds of thousands, probably over $100,000 in restitutions and fines and lost wages, in cars that I had to pay for. And I'm having to make payments every month, thousands of dollars. DUI classes, the time that it takes. And I mean, I was at an all-time low, and I was riding a bike to get around. And it was embarrassing. I mean, I lost so many friendships. I was continuing to drink now when I got out of jail. I was renting a room in a girlfriend's house at this point, continuing to drink away my feelings. And then I met somebody, and we started dating. That was Oleg, the Russian gentleman that I was with for 4.5 years. And he did not drink.
Oh, and that helps.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. And we started dating, and I don't know what he saw in me. But we weren't even seriously dating. We'd gone out a couple of times, and I started to develop feelings for him, and I told him that, and he said, well, to be honest with you, I would never be in a relationship with somebody that drank.
Oh.
Or smoked cigarettes. And I did both of those things. And at that time, I made a decision.
Wow.
Either I can say, screw you to this guy, or I can give up these terrible habits.
Which you've been needing to quit, just haven't had the opportunity, like the willpower.
The desire, or a reason. And I don't want to say, like, he was my reason, but I don't know, he was like an angel sent from God, swear to God, and he's still a friend to this day.
Where's he live?
He lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so ultimately that's what he always wanted. He's a mechanical engineer. He owns and runs his own engineering firm.
Oh, nice.
And that's what he always wanted. It was a goal from the day I met him, and he's accomplished that goal. And I have like the most admiration for this guy. And so, I mean, he.
Well, why'd you guys break up?
Well, he wanted me to move to the East Coast with him. He wanted to start a family over there, and I was terrified. And I felt like I was too young at that point and wasn't ready, and I let him go.
Does he have a family now?
He doesn't have any children. He's in a relationship. He's been in a long-term relationship for probably like 4 or 5 years now. He's very happy. I don't know why they haven't had children. He hasn't even asked her to marry him. Maybe because he's waiting for me to come back. I don't know.
That's probably it.
But I mean, every year in July, which is like my sobriety month, I reach out to him and thank him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he's the reason that I got sober and supported me, and he's ultimately the reason that I got into a healthy lifestyle, working out.
Oh, yeah, because, okay, was he around when you did that competition?
No, he was not around when I started doing bodybuilding. However, when I started doing CrossFit.
Oh, okay.
You know, I've been doing CrossFit for like 10 years. And I replaced when you have an addictive personality.
Yes.
I replaced my drinking. When I decided to give up drinking and smoking, I gave up meat at the same time.
Oh, still?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been like 10 years for the meat, but like 9.5 for cigarettes and drinking. Yeah.
Okay, so then but hey, you replaced it with such a great addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, a healthy addiction.
Yeah.
Which, before we move on to that, did you have any health issues from the drinking?
No, detoxing was tough. I mean, because again, now this is my second time around, and I'm detoxing, or like my third time around detoxing. Again, you have to go through that, and this one was probably the worst. Just full body sickness, and this one probably lasted a long time, like a month, maybe even longer than that.
What?
I lost hair. Hair was just coming out in globs.
That's crazy. I mean, it's straight poison. I mean, believe me, I drink alcohol too, so I mean, I'm not talking totally ill on alcohol. I get it. But it is poison.
You're able to control yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've known you for 150 years. 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You control yourself. I've seen you have a couple drinks, you have fun, and then you're able to turn it off and say, okay, that's enough.
Exactly. And you know what? Honestly, I think it's because in the bar business that I see people not handle their shit. It's so unattractive. It's so unappealing. And it's like you're that weak that, like, I feel like it's a weakness. You don't have enough 100%. Strength to know that maybe I shouldn't have another shot. Maybe I shouldn't have another drink. And so for me, I think it's because I've seen it for so long that I'm just like, I don't want to be sloppy, nasty, fucking disgusting like that. And I wish more people I wish more. I mean, I have some really close friends that that are just killing themselves, straight up, fucking knowing they're killing themselves and won't stop drinking.
Yeah.
Excessively, not just one or two, excessively, and it just gets to that point. It's just like, what can you do to help them?
They got to want to help themselves.
Yep.
And I mean, and I'm one of those, and I'm like hardcore about it. Like, I don't have any type of patience for people who are like, oh, it's so hard to stop, because I've been there. Mm-hmm. And it is hard. Mm-hmm. It's super fucking hard. But you know what? It's possible.
Yeah.
You just have to want it. And I can't tell you how my life has done nothing but skyrocket since actually getting sober and being serious about it, you know, for over 9 years. I mean, I would never imagine being where I'm growing up from, you know, coming from the type of background that I come from. And here I am with the job that I have, making the money I have, just bought my own house, bought my own car. Everything I buy is bought by me, paid for by me, you know, like, I would have never in a million years imagined being able to live the type of lifestyle that I live now.
Well, if you were still drinking, you couldn't.
Nope. I would be dead or in prison.
Yeah, and you lose so much motivation.
Oh my God.
And not just from alcohol. I see this with drugs as well. Like, it just, these people that have so much potential is just blown away because they just want to feel a high or get drunk. And you know, it's really sad because,
it is really sad.
Because they're just hurting themselves and the people that love them too. Yeah. You know, so I mean, but yeah, you definitely did decide to go down the route of health and fitness. Mm-hmm. And when you did that fucking bodybuilding, I need to get a photo from you and put it at the end of this podcast, because you did a whole transformation.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck did you do? Okay, because you were CrossFitting. Mm-hmm. Then you started lifting some major fucking weights, right? Yeah. And eating. Like, what was your whole regimen?
Well, so, okay, I was vegan up until the point that I started bodybuilding. And in order to get, like, to gain that muscle mass, you know, and I was doing CrossFit, and I was fine on a, you know, because I wasn't chasing an aesthetic doing CrossFit. I was chasing health and, you know, trying to lift heavy. And you don't have to eat any certain type of way. So I was totally fine doing CrossFit and eating vegan. However, when I wanted to do bodybuilding and actually compete, you know, where you have to put on like certain muscle mass and lean down, so you got to be able to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, you have to eat a certain way. So I actually took on eating eggs and tuna, which made me, I don't know what you want to say, pescatarian, vegetarian, pescatarian, I don't know, for those nitpicky people.
And you're doing protein shakes like
crazy.
Yeah.
Pea protein shakes. I actually ate more while I was doing bodybuilding than I did like just normal. Like you have to eat a ton to sustain, because you're working out a lot. I was working out for like 2 to 3 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. And
holy fuck, did you have a personal trainer that was helping you do this? Okay.
I did, yeah.
I mean, so what was your muscle or fat?
When I actually stepped on stage, I mean, I walk around, like probably right now, you know, I carry a lot of extra fat on my body. I'm probably at like 25% fat. I would walk around prior to that at probably like 17 to 20% fat. When I stepped on stage, I was at 13% fat, body fat, mm-hmm. which is, you know, women carry more fat. You know, men will typically step on stage and be like 4 to 7% body
Holy
fat.
Shit, yeah.
But girls, we have ass and tits, so.
But you looked amazing.
Thank you.
How many months and what age were you?
I was 37. When I compete, 37, 38, in a 2-year span.
You did it for 2 years?
Yeah. Well, like a year and a half I actually trained, because it went straight into COVID, and then everything kind of shut down, and I shut down during the pandemic. So you train for, it's hardcore, 2 to 3 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. And,
for how many months?
Before you go on stage, it's a hardcore, like 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, dedicated. And with diet and everything. The rest of the year can be relaxed on your diet and relaxed on your training. But yeah, you dial in for 3 to 4 months prior to a show. And
can you eat bread? Like,
I mean, you can.
Like, what is your normal?
Yeah, so, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But you watch your macros, or I watch my macros. Some people count calories. I didn't. I just, you know, you got to get a significant amount of protein. You try to watch, like, how many what ounces of protein you're getting and fat and carbs. You eat protein, fat, and carbs, and you want to get a high amount of protein and a lower amount of carbs in order to build that muscle and lose that fat. So, I was eating a shit ton of eggs.
Yeah.
Oatmeal, Greek yogurt, protein shakes.
Yeah, lots of 8 of those a day.
Yeah.
And what were you lifting? Like, what were you squatting? Do you remember your weights?
Oh, I mean,
because you had some fucking muscles.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like... Let's see, like, if I was to say, like, 1 rep maxes, it's not really that impressive, but... I mean, like, I can squat 200, but that's, like, for a 1 rep max. When I'm busting out, like, sets of, like, 8 to 12 reps, I was doing, over body weight. I was doing, like, 150, 160 pounds for sets and reps, but... and that, that's where I loved that.
Yeah, and your arms and everything. I mean, because you have to work every fucking muscle.
Yeah, so you're squatting, you're benching. I was benching
muscles
body
that you don't
weight.
Even know you have. You're
oh my god, girl, you have no idea. I was impressed with myself because I don't even think I can do. I don't think I could do a pull up today. I'd probably look like I was having a seizure or something if I jumped on the bar. But yeah, I mean, I could bust out like 10 pull-ups, no problem.
Oh my god!
I know. When I was an alcoholic, I'd be like, I can bust out 10 shots, like
yeah, that's awesome. But that must have felt so fulfilling to get on the stage.
It was a bucket list.
Yeah.
I'd always thought, and it was one of those things that I never thought I could achieve. When I'm like this sloppy drunk girl that's getting arrested and getting in bar fights and wrecking her car, and here I am now stepping on stage in a bikini in a bodybuilding competition, and I mean it was a bucket list thing that I wanted to do. You know what? I always wanted to be like one of these girls, and I'm gonna do it because I can, because
that's
I'm
awesome.
sober. Yeah,
that's awesome. And then you decided,
oh god, where are we going?
To have a child at 40.
At 40.
And you might be able to hear him in the background every once in a while. My husband is babysitting.
I know. So all I hear is I'm actually really impressed. I can imagine Josh in there right now. He's probably like on all fours. The baby's probably riding him like a horse, like whoosh. Josh is so cute. You're so lucky, Lacey. He's the sweetest.
He's all right. I might keep him. I'm still debating. But he's probably literally doing this, like trying to...
The baby could probably hear me right now. He's probably trying to get in here. And Josh is like, no, have a snack.
While he's trying to watch the Niner game.
He's probably got cartoons on in there right now. The baby probably won.
He's all fuck the Niners, just whatever to keep him quiet. But so, oh my God, it was great. We went to your baby shower. My youngest drove me to and from your baby shower while you're having your first child.
Which is crazy because I was there when you had Desiree.
I know.
3 years ago.
If you remember, you came up with Desiree.
What do you mean came up with her?
The name.
I did.
Yeah. No, came up with her.
Wait a minute. You birthed her. I didn't drive her up there.
No, you did. It was after the baby shower.
Oh, Lacey, I'll never forget it. We were down in your room, and we were talking about it, and I remember I will never forget it. You wanted to name her Brianna. And I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, well, if you're so smart, come up with a name. I was like, Desiree. And you were like, oh, I like it.
Yeah, because it was definitely going to be Brianna, but I wasn't 100% sold. I was like, but yeah, I remember going upstairs and telling my parents, like, oh, Desiree. Yeah.
I'll never, I mean, you're one of my best friends. You're one of my lifelong friends that, sorry, you're stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh, I remember
no matter what.
Yeah, I remember being 18, and when my belly finally started coming, kind of, you feel like you're fat, like when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
But if you lay on your back, and I was skinny back, then when I was just pregnant, obviously 18, and then the little bump, and it was a uterus. I was like, what the heck? And I was like, Jen, feel this! I think it's a baby. I mean, we're just young and just,
didn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, just going to your baby shower now, because I didn't know if you were ever going to have a child, right? I mean, some people don't have to have children. That's totally fine. Who gives a shit, right? But 40, I was like, bitch, you really ready for this? I mean, I'm exhausted. At 40... with a 16-year-old, I couldn't imagine a baby, a toddler running around. How is it?
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, fortunately I had a good foundation of health and fitness going into my pregnancy. So I had a healthy pregnancy. It was good. And, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting, because I've achieved all these things now in this time of my sobriety. And I'm thinking, oh man, because of course, he wasn't planned. And I just knew that all my life is going to change. All my freedom is gone. No more sleeping in and going and doing whatever I want, whenever I want. And, yeah, I mean, how is it?
He's so cute.
Oh my God. I love him so much. the love. I never understood. Okay, first of all, I never gave enough credit. So I'm going to apologize to you right now.
No.
Especially being such a young mom. We don't give enough credit to mothers.
No.
And how hard it is emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, the sleep, our bodies.
Especially when you're single too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what it would be like to have a second half help every day. Like that'd be crazy. I mean, obviously I met Josh when Kaylee was 3 and Desiree was 9.
God, you've been through it.
I know. Yeah, fucking shit. But with you, like, you're single.
I'm single.
And so, I mean, you're doing it on your own majority of the time.
Majority of the time, because Dad works out of town. He's present in baby's life when he's local, when he's not working away. But yeah, I mean, Rip is.
I was gonna say his name is so cute.
Rip.
I wonder where you got it.
It's so Dad worked, Dad's especially, it was shocking having a baby at 40, life altering, the amount of love. And then, basically Dad being out of town for the first half of his life, living away, was really difficult. And so again, there's my hats off to mothers, single mothers out there. It is a lot of work. And then,
I know, and you're just getting started, lady.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Because he's 14 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Just even getting ready to come and visit and hang out. It's just, and you've got somebody tugging on your leg. I'm like, can I do my hair? Can I brush my teeth? No,
I'm shocked you look as good as you do right now.
I'll pay you later.
With having him, I mean, because they're busy unless they're taking a nap.
No,
or put him in a crate or something. Like, I'm used to dogs now. Pin.
That's not the way it works anymore, Lacey.
That's frowned upon.
Not with kids.
Yeah, frowned upon.
I mean, it might have worked with Des and Kaylee, but
back then they had leashes. It wasn't really a leash. It was like a backpack, monkey backpack, and it had a tail.
They still have those.
Okay.
Did you put those on the girls back then?
Oh God, yeah.
Did you?
I remember going to like the fair, just having leashes for our children.
Get over here. I mean, yeah. I mean, I need to ask a mom, like, when is it appropriate to start beating your kids? Like, is 14 months too soon?
We'll have to talk about that off camera.
Asking for a friend.
Because apparently you can't touch your children.
It's frowned upon.
No, I smack the shit out of my children's asses, and I feel like too many parents let their children walk all over them anymore.
What is it? Gentle parenting?
Fucking pussy parents, more like it.
Not
I mean,
for
like
me.
Children should not run their parents.
No,
parents should still be able to run their children.
My son has me wrapped around his finger. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, no, I fully believe in spanking, and you're going to have respect. You're gonna listen. You're gonna be in line. Yeah,
dude, my parents would take a wooden fucking spoon or a belt,
Don't even get me started. I was in foster care because mine took a lawn chair to me.
Oh, shit.
Highly frowned upon.
Yes, I wouldn't do that.
But again, it's a foundation for me. I look back at my childhood and I learned a lot.
I totally forgot about you being in foster care.
Yeah.
I totally fucking forgot about that.
Yeah.
How long were you in there?
A year.
Did you like your foster parent?
No, I went to 3 different foster homes. I hated it. What is it called? It's that Stockholm syndrome. I just wanted to be at home. I wanted to be at home in my dysfunctional environment that was normal and comfortable.
Familiar.
Yeah, familiar. And so that's the crazy part is that when they took me out and they take you out for your safety.
What age?
And God, how old was I think I was in there from 9 to 10, maybe 8 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they take you out and they put you in foster care. And both my brother, David was already, I think, in jail at the point. Eric was in a boys' camp,
Oh my God.
Yeah. But these are all experiences that I get to take into my parenting.
Yeah.
I know what not to do.
Yeah.
I know how I'm going to treat my son differently because of, how I know it affected me. And all of the shit that led, all of that abuse and dysfunction ultimately led me to drinking and led me to going to jail and all of that unnecessary bullshit that I went through that I will never put my child through, and now he's a daily reminder of why I would never, ever drink again. I mean, he's the reason, now that keeps me sober because I would never put him into a position of danger or taking anything that could take me away from caring for him. He needs me. So,
well, maybe you, God knew to make you wait until you were 40 to have a baby so that you were ready and prepared and everything.
Thanks, God. Thanks, God. I mean, it's...
Could you imagine if you had one at my age?
No.
I mean, because of your alcohol, situation.
Yeah. I
that would have been bad.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, what recommendations do you have for people to actually stop drinking? Because, God, there's some people, you just can't get through to some people, Like, I can't. I know I can't. Maybe you, being someone that has gone there, been there, done that, is there any little trigger, anything you could say that might help?
I mean, if there's a lot more negative stuff happening in your life than positive, then that's a sign, or how you're feeling. If you're feeling like shit more than you're feeling good, and I mean like in a mental fog or physically, emotionally, because alcohol affects all of those things, your mental, your emotional, and your physical. And if you're feeling down more than you're feeling up, then it's time to make a change. And you just have to really understand that it's going to be hard work, but it'll be worth it. I mean, alcohol, if it's taking away your freedom, if it's taking you away from loved ones, if it's hurting you financially, and I mean, when I say hurting you financially, if you're hungover and you can't go to work, and you're taking a loss in pay, that's hurting you financially. Yeah. If you're prioritizing, I'm going to go out and get drunk tonight rather than buy myself a healthy dinner, then it's hurting you physically. You're prioritizing that poison over betterness and health for your body. Or like mentally, like if you're having fights with your loved ones, your children, your spouse, your mother, father, siblings, whatever, then you're obviously prioritizing the wrong thing. And I mean, I wish that there was, I was losing.
Yeah.
I had lost so much and I was continuously losing because I was continuing to drink. And I wanted a better life. And the first thing that I had to do was eliminate alcohol because that was the one common denominator behind everything that I was losing.
Yeah.
So in order to achieve greatness in my life, I had to get rid of this one bad habit.
Well, I do see a lot of people are like, okay, well, I'll just cut down. But, but what we have learned is if you're an alcoholic, you can't even taste it.
No.
Like, you shouldn't even smell it. Like,
no.
Really,
It took me years to be able to be around people drinking, and like I said, I'm almost 9.5 years sober, and I still get these feelings of, oh, if I'm to go on vacation, wouldn't it be nice to have a Mai Tai on the beach? Because it's something that goes hand in hand,
yes.
But it's like, I know that I cannot smell it, I cannot taste it, because it's all over with for me. If once I get it into my blood, I'm an addict. I want more. Your body craves more. Your mind wants more. It's a sickness. So I just have to, even when I get those feelings of, oh, this would be nice, or oh, that drink that you have looks amazing, I can get a virgin option of that. I like mojitos.
It's been a long time since you had any virgin anything.
You know what? I wish I was more of a slut than I actually am, because then I'd be getting a little bit more action. But these days I just mom so hard.
Oh, I know. And you gotta, you only have like 16 and a half more years.
Before I'm gonna get laid, or
no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you scared.
Momming.
I know. Oh, I'm gonna. I joke around. I still breastfeed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Desiree was 15 months old
when you quit. When you stopped, did she stop, or did you kind of wean her?
Oh, I was trying to get that bitch off my tit for a long time.
Because I was thinking, I would have thought that by now he would kind of...
It's such a comfort thing.
It is. And you know what? It brings me comfort. I joke around. I'm going to be breastfeeding him until he's 34. He's my boy, and he's my baby.
His wife will think it's super weird.
Well, screw her. Wife Schmeif. I'm going to make sure he's fat and ugly and nobody likes him. So he'll live with mom forever. He's my baby.
You'll grow out of that. I know.
Yeah.
But that's so cute. I mean, I don't even know that feeling of having a boy, a son. But I'm sure it's cool.
Well, I don't know the feeling of having a girl.
Yeah.
And that's fun. You had fun. Your girls were fun. And I got to, that was cool to be a part of their lives. And it's such a trip. I mean, Kaylee, when the girls' birthdays pass, I always go back and look at those memories of them when they're born or when they're little, and photos that I have of me and them, and it's so cute. Yeah, and you've got grown ones, and you're, Des is probably going to make you a grandma any minute now.
No, they both are they have 10 years, like... They have the IUD, like, no babies.
Oh, okay. Smart girls.
Yes.
They learned from mom.
Exactly. Like, I remember going to my doctor and being like, hey, can I just, like, when I bring my daughter in at, like, the 13-year checkup, pap smear thing, can you just put an IUD in?
Don't tell her.
Yeah, just don't tell her, because I want her to keep still using condoms, but I don't want her to still get pregnant. He's like, no, I cannot do that. I was like, why not?
I'm the mom. I'm consenting.
I will sign the consent. But luckily, they both decided on their own. I had him in an armbar, but it's fine. But no babies for quite some time.
Good.
Yeah. But the thing about having a daughter, which is pretty cool, is like, I raised them to be the perfect woman, right? And so when they're going to bring men to me, their son-in-laws and boyfriends and, all that. And that's going to be great. Oh, now I have a guy. I love guys. Like, let's bring guys into the picture. But to have a son, God, they're going to bring a chick into your world. Woo. And hopefully they're not a fucking manipulative, awful female, because that is like there's a lot of them out there.
There is, and I'm hoping that through, raising him right and because they say typically that men marry their mothers, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to love him and be there for him in a way in a healthy manner to show him this is what a healthy love is, and this is what you should seek in a relationship. And ultimately I would love to have displayed that between his father and I, but our relationship didn't work out. But I hope to meet somebody and get into a relationship, a loving and respectful relationship, to also show him that this is what a healthy and loving relationship looks like. Yeah. And
always teach your sons power of pussy.
What's the power of that? What?
That is not the power. Don't give them the power, because they always give power of pussy to fucking chicks. Guys do.
Wait. I don't get it. Explain.
So men fall victim to the power of
pussy.
Oh,
okay.
Yes. So we have to teach our sons, like, not to be so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, they just get sucked in, and
like a woman opens her legs and they're like, anything you say.
Exactly. No. That is the one thing that if I had a son, I would definitely try to beat that into them. Do not let...
Just because a girl... Well, I'm hoping that he's respectful enough to not only be going for that in a woman... but yeah, I'll teach him power of pussy. At what age do I have to have that awkward conversation?
You give it a couple years.
Okay. Like 4 or 5. Start him young.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to tell our viewers before we head off?
No.
We had a great conversation.
We had a great conversation.
I'm glad you came up.
Oh, well, thanks for inviting me. This was so much fun. Yeah. Oh my God. I thought I was going to be like so nervous. I was like, where is she going to go with these questions? But this was so comfortable and so much fun. And it's so nice to catch up with you. And
absolutely.
Relive some of these embarrassing stories. And
I kept some of the worst ones out for another
I
episode.
Appreciate that for a follow-up.
Yes, exactly. All right. Thanks, Jen.
Appreciate
it, really. All right. We'll see you next week with a new guest. Thanks. Don't miss out on a single moment of the Real Life with Lacey. Hit that subscribe button so you'll always be the first to know when a new episode drops. Together, we'll keep uncovering the authenticity of life. Subscribe now and join our vibrant community of real stories and real connections.